Good afternoon, everybody. We're getting started a little bit early because I thought everybody might just enjoy the views here of our Secret Reef exhibit. Momentarily, Mark Craven, the Tennessee Aquarium's dive safety officer, will be joining us. Again, we're coming to you live from inside the Ocean Journey building. This is our Secret Reef exhibit, which models the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary located in the Gulf of Mexico. Hello from Michigan, Melissa, great to have you watching today. Teresa, they are some great looking sharks. Betty, thanks for visiting. We hope you come back when it's safe to travel again. Amy, it is a sand tiger shark. You'll see both sand tigers and sandbar sharks. One of the sandbars, actually two of the sandbars are in view right now. Comes one of the sandbars, the other one is going the other direction, and in the lower left-hand part of the screen is another sand tiger shark. We are anxiously awaiting a couple of our divers to get in the water to join us today. We're gonna do a little impromptu live dive show from inside the water. Margaret, where in Kentucky are you? Great to have you. Linville, Tennessee. Amanda, thanks for watching. Maryville, Lou, thank you so much for watching. Julian, we love to have you watching. Thanks for joining us today. We're enjoying the view here while we're awaiting our divers to enter the water. Bear with us, there may be a couple of glitches. This is one part of the building where there's a lot of water overhead, and our connectivity may be just a little bit shaky today. So if it freezes for just a moment, hang with us, it'll come back. Lex, thanks for tuning in. We miss having visitors here too, and we're gonna be ready to welcome everybody back when it is safe to travel once again. Amy, thanks for tuning in from Cleveland, Tennessee. Great to have everybody watching. If we have children watching, we'll be able to ask some questions of our divers who'll be entering the water shortly. For right now, we're just kind of sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the view. Rhonda, welcome. Glad to have you watching from Paris, Tennessee. Hope the weather is as beautiful there and in Livingston as it is right now in downtown Chattanooga. It's a gorgeous spring day outside. Rachel, thanks for tuning in from Johnson City and enjoying the view of our big toothy sharks and colorful reef fish. Adelie, Aya from Dalton, Georgia, thanks for tuning in. Wow, Barbara, South Dakota, I hope it's warm there. Amy and Tommy, thanks for watching from Dalton. Hello, Wisconsin. Signal Mountain, Claire, hello to you. And here comes our divers right on cue. How about that? Here today, joining us is Mark Craven, our dive safety officer. Mark will be the one who will be speaking with us today. And Nikki is his safety diver. Give them a second to get settled. Have folks watching from Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, South Dakota. We've got them from all over, Mark.
That's great.
One just tuned in. So
That's awesome. Welcome.
How's the water in there?
Well, the Secret Reef exhibit here at the Tennessee Aquarium is designed to mimic this portion of the Gulf of Mexico, which is about 120 miles off the coast of Galveston, Texas, Louisiana, there. And we keep this water temperature right about 76 degrees year-round.
So that's actually warmer than it is outside right now. It's a little bit cool today in spite of the full sunshine. We've got a beautiful spring day outside, but it's nice to know that the waters are tropical and comfortable where you're at. Tell us who's in the water with you and what is that person holding?
Well, this is Nikki Eisenbeger. She's one of our senior biologists here at the Tennessee Aquarium, senior aquarist. Normally she's taking care of some of our quarantined animals, but today she's serving as my what we call a guard diver. That's a little bit of an odd term, but basically she's using that piece of PVC pipe that she's holding as a bit of a mobile fence for our large shark species. The sand tigers and sandbars are perfectly comfortable with us being in the water with them, and it would be easy for them to come close enough that as I'm speaking to you and gesturing, I can instantly bump one of them with my hand. So she's making sure that they keep a large enough perimeter around me that we don't have any collisions that we're not expecting.
Yeah, and it's such a busy place, and from this view you can probably tell at home that there's a lot of structure in this tank. And what's interesting about being a diver and being in the water is you can kind of get lost in there, and there's a lot of travel patterns. So the sharks and all the fish have various places that they can turn around and swim through. It's a very naturalistic setting for all of the animals. So it's very good for not only us to understand that habitat in the Gulf of Mexico, but for the animals to have plenty of room to move around. And Mark, how many fish are in this exhibit?
Well, this exhibit is home to about 3,000 individual animals, and they comprise roughly 60 to 65 different species of fish, all of which would be found in the Gulf of Mexico along the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary.
And I know that you have been diving in a lot of different locations. Have you ever been diving in the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary?
Actually, I have. I've been fortunate enough to be down at the Flower Gardens a couple of times, and the exhibitry here in this enclosure is very, very similar to the hard coral type landscape that you would see out on the salt domes.
Now we've got a very interesting character that's on now the left-hand side of our screen, the right-hand side of the window for you. It's kind of a flat-looking pale fish. Mark, what is that?
I've seen some French angel. You're seeing the filefish. There's actually two of them there. One of them's tucked a little bit more into the corner. Those are orange filefish. They're very interesting animals.
Yeah, they have kind of a spine on their back, don't they?
That's correct. They use that spine to lock themselves in place if there's a current and they're trying to rest, or if they're trying to tuck away and be hidden a little bit, they can wedge themselves in the rock and eject that spine out of the top of their dorsal side there, out of their back, to lock them in place so they don't get swept away by the currents.
Well, that's a pretty neat thing to have. And believe it or not, people may not realize this, but if you were a scuba diver inside the Secret Reef exhibit, because of the filtration systems and the circulating water in there, there are actually places where there's a little bit of current inside the exhibit. And so, again, it really mimics the real world, this actual place that's located, again, as Mark noted, off the coast of Galveston, Texas, about 110 miles. We have these big toothy sharks, Mark, that are circulating around you right now. One just swam past the window. And a 6-year-old, Sarah, has asked a question. What do the sharks eat at the Tennessee Aquarium?
Well, Sarah, we feed our sharks a variety of fish items. The sand tiger sharks that you're seeing circling me here eat typically whole fish in the wild. You'll notice their teeth, which are very easy to see, are needle-shaped, and they use those teeth to hold on to a full prey item to swallow it. They don't chew up their food like we do. And here at the aquarium, we simulate what they would get in the wild with animals that they would actually eat. Some mackerel, some blue rudder, bonito, different food forage fish that they would find in the wild that we're able to procure.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of people have the misperception that sharks are eating machines, that they need to eat. Sharks at the Tennessee Aquarium get fed 3 times a week, and they're fed a very specific diet. It's well balanced and has nutritional supplements added to it, so they get all the minerals and nutrients that they need. And really, that's all they need to stay happy and healthy. And more importantly, it keeps them from becoming overweight. Just like humans, if an animal becomes overweight, like your dog or a cat, it could have some health problems. And same thing for fish, whether that's reef fish or great big sharks. If they get overweight, they can have some health problems. I have another great question, Mark, and that is, it looks like one of them swimming around with a tooth about to fall out. What's going on there?
Actually, he is about to lose a tooth. I noticed that myself. Sharks, their jaw is made of cartilage, like the tip of our nose or our ears. They're not bone, and because of that, their they're designed that their teeth rotate through. And in the case of the sand tigers, they've got 6 or 7 different rows of teeth that kind of move like a conveyor belt to push the freshest tooth up to the top so that they can feed optimally.
So they lose thousands of teeth during their lifetime, and one of the benefits of becoming a volunteer scuba diver is after the work is done, you get a chance to swim around the bottom and look for shark's teeth, which is kind of a neat souvenir. We had a great question if there was any live coral in this exhibit. There's not any live coral. All of this is concrete. It's designed to look like or replicate those big, hard corals that are found in the Gulf of Mexico. But right around the corner from this exhibit, we actually have a live coral exhibit, and it is spectacular. It's beautiful, and we'll try to highlight that exhibit in the days and weeks to come as we offer these Facebook Live opportunities. We have someone who had a niece who's been diving in the flower garden banks. That's great. Marine sanctuaries are very special places. And Mark, if you could talk about the 2 different species of sharks. We talked about the sand tigers quite a bit.
Sure, we've got the other species of shark that we have, the little bit smaller body, more agile swimming sharks are sandbar sharks. They're also found in the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean, and their predatory type is more of a cutting, lacerating sort of type. They've got the typical triangular shark tooth that we all imagine when we think of a shark tooth that they use to slice into the prey items. So they'll eat prey items that are a little larger than what the sand tigers will eat. They also seem to not be as interested in the bubbles that the divers give off, so it'll be a special treat if they come around too often.
Yeah, they've been making their appearance, and
actually, here's one coming across the window now.
Exactly. They seem to have more of a classic shark shape, don't you think?
They do.
We've got another great question, and this is right up your alley, Mark, because as dive safety officer, Mark is the one who's in charge of our volunteer dive program. And so this viewer would like to know, what does it take to become a volunteer scuba diver at the Tennessee Aquarium?
Well, first of all, you have to be a trained scuba diver. You have to have a certification from one of the internationally recognized training agencies as a scuba diver. And then there's an application process and also a tryout, if you will. All of our prospective divers have to take a written exam. They have to do a swimming pool evaluation. Because diving here to the aquarium is a bit different than diving out in the open water. You've got to be a little more tuned in with your buoyancy skills and your situational awareness because we're in a much smaller area. And then once you've been invited to the program after your audition, we'll call it, then there's about 40 hours of training beyond your scuba certification, which includes first aid, CPR, and emergency oxygen administration, and job-specific training. You know, in our open water licensing courses, we don't learn how to identify fish or clean exhibits or use full face masks or those sorts of things. So we do all of that training in-house.
That's great. And it's amazing how slow and graceful these sharks are when you have this up-close view at the Tennessee Aquarium. And you can really see all of their features very well. It's a real treat and a privilege to be able to be so close to these magnificent animals.
Well, and it's a privilege to be in the water with them as well, Tom. I don't know if you're aware, but usually when we see a shark out in the ocean as scuba divers, you see the tail because it's spooking them. So being able to have them nice and relaxed around us and get a good look is a real treat.
All right, we're going to do some rapid fire questions here because we've got a lot coming in. What rays do you have in that exhibit? What stingrays?
We have cownose stingrays, which you'll see swimming around above me, and we also have some southern stingrays, which or Atlantic stingrays, which stay a little more down at the bottom.
Angelica, age 11, would like to know, do sharks sleep?
Sharks typically don't sleep as we think of it. They do enter a periodic torpor, is what it's called, where they just a resting period. A lot of sharks, like the sandbar sharks, actually have to continuously be moving in order to breathe. they don't have the ability to put water across their gills without moving. So, if you will, and it'll kind of glide rest rather than sleeping like we think of sleep.
Okay, and as we watch some more of these gorgeous fish swimming around in schools, we've got so many different colors, shapes, and sizes. It's really a wonderful, relaxing scene. It's even more relaxing to be in the water. And Mark, the question is, how big are those stingrays?
I think the largest female sucker that we have here probably has a wingspan of about 3 feet or so.
And you've actually had some stingray pups born in this exhibit.
We have actually had several litters of pups born here in the Secret Reef exhibit over the years.
And what happens with those pups once they're born?
Well, they get taken to off-site holding with a vet, and the aquarist can make sure that everybody's happy and healthy. And then some of those pups are actually exhibited in our touch pool upstairs in Stingray Bay. And then other of those maybe go to sister institutions around the nation that have exhibits for them.
Yeah, such a great exhibit. And one of the questions that we often get is, how deep is this exhibit?
Well, this exhibit on the backside against the black wall that's here to your viewing left, we can get about 32 feet of depth. That's about as deep as it gets. On your viewing right side, we'll have a 2-story window that's about 24 feet deep.
This exhibit is designed to give folks kind of a virtual experience of scuba diving. You have about 24 different views into the exhibit as you work your way from the top all the way down to the bottom in that undersea cavern where you can watch the sharks and other fish swimming overhead. So you get a chance to see a lot of different fish in different parts of the exhibit. For example, squirrelfish tend to be animals that like a dark spot, and so there's some little canyon recesses where they like to live. What other fish have specialized habitats in this exhibit, Mark?
Well, I don't know if you can see, there's a spot-fin butterfly fish that's been hanging out in front of me. That's been a real treat. We don't get to see them a whole lot in this part of the exhibit. But they tend to set up a home court, if you will, in the reef. Also, the blue tanks, these are darker with a blue margins on their fins. They actually nest very often among the coral outcroppings here. So they'll set up their own little territory as well around their nest and tend to the nest.
If you look closely at this shark that's passing by right now, he's the one that has the loose tooth that's about to fall out at any moment. In fact, who knows, by the time he circles around the next time, that tooth may have fallen off somewhere else in the exhibit. And that happens all the time, and that's not uncommon for any shark species. Jonathan would like to know, Mark, do the fish and the sharks ever fight?
Not really, no. They get along fairly swimmingly. We do exhibit what would traditionally be prey items and predators together, but we also regulate the diets such that they don't feel like they have to hunt for food. Every once in a while something happens because it is nature, they are wild animals, but for the most part, as long as everyone's satiated, that predatory drive is kept in check, and they get along pretty well.
Now, we've already addressed the fact that the sharks don't really bother with the divers, and they have been target trained to eat from the surface from a pole, so they don't associate food with the divers, so there's not really any connection for the sharks to think that the divers would be carrying any food with them. However, there are some feisty fish that sometimes peck at divers when they're in the water. What's going on there?
Well, I spoke of the sergeant majors that are here in front of me just a few minutes ago. As they're tending their nests, they're also defending them from any of the other fish that might want to come in and eat the eggs out of the nest or something like that. And they will also defend those nests against us, and they'll do it with a lot of vigor.
And sometimes the triggerfish too, right?
And sometimes the triggerfish, we've got queen triggers as well as gray triggers, ocean triggers in this exhibit, and they tend to defend the nest that they build as well.
Yeah. That was a good example right now, as you see that one shark passing almost directly over Mark's head, of Nikki just merely moving that guard stick, or bump stick as we call it, close to the shark, but not touching the shark. And that's one important thing that we like to let everybody know, that we don't use those poles to touch the sharks, but if you just wave them, they can sense they're there. And it's sort of like a moving fence. They don't have to be touched. They just know that they're close enough and they should move just a little ways away. Is that correct, Mark?
That's correct. The sharks have very sensitive sensory organs that run down across their snout and down their sides called ampullae lorenzini. And they use those sensory organs to sense structures in the water or movement in the water. They can actually sense the pressure change of me just waving my hand through the water column. And we rely on that sensory perception of the sharks when we use these bump sticks. As long as it's in the area and you can wave it around a little bit, they'll sense that it's there and it's something that they can't swim through.
Anybody who's ever been snorkeling or scuba diving knows that the water clarity can really add to your enjoyment, and the water clarity of this exhibit is pristine. It's just crystal clear, and several people have noted how beautiful the exhibit looks right now. So Becky Gross asks, how do you maintain the water quality? It can be difficult in a home aquarium. How can you do it in such a large exhibit like this, Mark?
Well, it's difficult in a large exhibit too, Becky. We use very similar, although much larger mechanisms to maintain water quality in our exhibits here. We use rapid sand filters, which are very much the same thing you would have on a backyard swimming pool. We use foam fractionation, or what's commonly known as protein skimmers. We use ultraviolet radiation. We use ozonation. There's a myriad of different types of filtrations, mechanical and chemical, and that we use to maintain this clarity.
Both the clarity and the water temperature and the water chemistry, all very important factors for the overall health of the animal population living in this gigantic habitat. And Mark, we had a very good question. Someone was noticing that one of the sharks has a little growth on the end of its nose, and they were wondering about that. We can tell you that Dr. Keller, our veterinarian, is going to perform a procedure to take a look at that. And one of the things that's going on right now, and people may not realize it, but you can train sharks, and so we're doing a little bit of training so we can make that procedure go as smoothly as possible. Tell us a little bit about that, Mark, if you will.
Well, sandbar sharks, which is what that individual is, they're somewhat of a little bit of a bottom feeder. They like to eat crustaceans that grow around on the bottom. And so in the wild and here at the Tennessee Aquarium, you'll see them kind of nosing around in the rockwork and in the gravel, and it scuffs up their nose just a little bit. And that particular individual has developed a little bit of scar tissue on her nose from that behavior, which is perfectly natural. And that scar tissue is kind of grown into a little bit of a projection off the end of her snout that, as Tom said, our veterinarian, Dr. Keller, is going to take a look at here in a few weeks.
Well, it's been very relaxing watching all the animals. I hope everybody has enjoyed this. I know that this is a very busy time for our aquarium staff. We have split shifts because just like everyone who's staying safe at home, we have essential workers here who are caring for the animals, but we've divided our staff in half. So there's an A team and a B team right now. And A team works for 4 days, and then the B team comes on for 3, and then they switch. And this will continue as long as we need to during this public health emergency. One of the things we'd like to point out too, that operating and maintaining a public facility like a nonprofit aquarium like this does have quite a bit of expenses. We're committed to caring for the animals, but without guests and without revenue from admissions, it is more challenging for a nonprofit organization like the Tennessee Aquarium. So we would ask that if you have a moment and you could go to our website, tnaqua.org, and click on the Donate Now button and contribute whatever you can to our Emergency Operations Fund to help us take care of the animals and take care of the facilities while we're closed during this public health emergency. We would greatly appreciate that. We'd also ask that you invite your friends to watch these live feeds. We're going to be hosting these during weekdays at 1 o'clock. We're trying to maintain a consistent schedule for everybody so you can enjoy these. Of course, we'll have those posted for viewing later on. And we also have a lot of resources, both our live web cameras. You can actually observe this exhibit, the Penguins Rock exhibit, and our River Otter Falls exhibit at any time with our live webcams. And we've got coloring sheets, activity sheets. Our education department has a lot of materials that they're going to be putting on the Aquarium at Home page starting next week. These are a lot of fun activities for families to do. Be a backyard scientist, kind of a little naturalist in your own yard right around your home, so you don't have to venture very far away from your house, but it gives you a chance to get outside and explore nature with the help and guidance from our expert education staff. So again, thanks for joining us. Mark, do you have any follow-up thoughts for us today?
I just want to thank everybody for being with us, and hope that you stay safe out there and we can get to see you in person very soon.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you for tuning in to this live feed from the Tennessee Aquarium's Secret Reef exhibit within the Ocean Journey building. We look forward to welcoming everyone back to Chattanooga and the Tennessee Aquarium when it's safe for everyone to travel. Until then, stay home and stay well. Thanks for watching.